Part 1. The transaction. The metal floor of Kepler Station's underground market was cold against Zara's bare feet. She stood on the auction platform, her forearms chained behind her back, trying not to shake. The bright lights hurt her large eyes. Around her, different alien species shouted numbers and waved their hands in the air. Zara was a Vexarian. Her people had beautiful blue skin that looked like crystal in the light. They were smart and could connect their minds to computers in ways other species could not. This made them valuable as slaves. She had been sold many times before. Each master was worse than the last. They made her work without rest. They hit her when she was slow. They never gave her enough food. Now she was being sold again, and she was very afraid. "Look at those quantum interface ports behind her ears," shouted the auctioneer, a fat creature with too many eyes. "This female can hack any system in the galaxy. Perfect for mining operations or ship repairs." The crowd got excited. Zara closed her eyes and tried not to cry. She was only 19 years old, but she felt ancient. Her life had been nothing but pain and work. Starting bid is 5,000 credits, the auctioneer called out. Hands shot up everywhere. A tall, thin alien with sharp teeth bid 6,000. A robot with red eyes bid 7,000. The numbers kept going up. Zara knew that higher prices usually meant worse treatment. Rich masters could afford to buy new slaves when the old ones died. 10,000, shouted a voice from the back. Zara opened her eyes and looked toward the voice. She saw a human standing in the shadows. He was not tall or strong-looking. His hair was gray, and there were lines around his eyes. He wore simple clothes and looked tired, but something about him was different from the others. The human did not look excited or hungry like the other bidders. He looked sad. 11,000, bid the sharp-toothed alien. 15,000, the human said quietly. The crowd went silent. 15,000 was a lot of money for one slave. The sharp-toothed alien looked angry but did not bid higher. No one else spoke. Sold to the human. For 15,000 credits, the auctioneer announced. Zara's heart sank. Humans had a bad reputation in the slave markets. They were known to be cruel and unpredictable. Some said they were crazy because they fought wars over ideas instead of resources. So others said they were dangerous because they never gave up, even when they should. The human walked up to the platform. Up close, Zara could see his face better. His skin was brown and weathered like old leather. His eyes were dark and kind, but they held deep sadness. When he looked at her, she saw something she had never seen before in a master's eyes: pity. "My name is Marcus Chen," he said softly as he paid the auctioneer. "What's your name?" Was shocked. No master had ever asked her name before. They usually just called her slave or you. "Zara," she whispered. Marcus nodded. "It's nice to meet you, Zara." The auctioneer handed Marcus a control device. It could send electric shocks through Zara's collar if she tried to run or disobey. Every slave wore one. Marcus looked at the device for a long moment, then put it in his pocket without using it. "Can you walk?" Marcus asked Zara. She nodded, confused. Why was he asking? Masters usually just dragged their slaves wherever they wanted to go. Marcus gently removed her chains. Zara's arms felt strange when they were free. She had been chained for so long that she had almost forgotten what it felt like to move them normally. "Come on," Marcus said. "Let's get you out of here." They walked through the crowded market together. Zara stayed close behind Marcus, expecting him to grab her or put new chains on her at any moment. But he just walked slowly, making sure she could keep up. Other traders and buyers stared at them as they passed. Some nodded respectfully at Marcus. A few aliens even stepped out of their way. Zara was confused. This human did not look powerful or rich, but everyone seemed to know him. They reached Marcus's ship at the edge of the station. It was not a big or fancy ship. The paint was old, and there were dents in the metal. Words on the side said "second." Chants in several different languages. Marcus stopped at the ship's door, turned to look at Zara. She automatically dropped to her knees and lowered her head, waiting for orders. This was what slaves were supposed to do. "You don't have to do that," Marcus said gently. Zara looked up at him, confused. ... "I am your property now, master." Marcus's face looked even sadder. Don't call me master. My name is Marcus. You're not property. You're a person. Zara did not understand. She had been told her whole life that she was just a thing that could be bought and sold. No one had ever called her a person before. Marcus opened the ship's door. Are you hungry? He asked. Zara nodded quickly. She was always hungry.
Masters
Usually gave slaves just enough food to keep them alive and working. Good. I'll make us something to eat once we're inside. The inside of Marcus's ship was clean, but simple. There were no gold decorations or expensive furniture like in other masters' ships. Everything looked practical and well-used. Marcus led her to a small room with a table and chairs. Please, sit down, he said. Zara hesitated. Slaves were not allowed to sit in chairs. They had to sit on the floor or stand. It's okay, Marcus said, pulling out a chair for her. You can sit. Slowly, Zara sat down. The chair was soft and comfortable. She could not remember the last time she had sat in a real chair. Marcus went to a small kitchen area and started preparing food. Zara watched him carefully, trying to understand what kind of trap this was. Masters were never kind without a reason. Maybe he was being nice now so that it would hurt more when he started being cruel later. The smell of cooking food filled the air. Zara's stomach made loud noises. Marcus smiled when he heard it. Almost ready, he said. He brought her a plate of food. There was more on it than she usually ate in 3 days. There was meat and vegetables and bread. It smelled wonderful. Go ahead and eat, Marcus said, sitting down across from her with his own plate. Zara ate slowly at first, expecting Marcus to take the food away or tell her she was eating too much. But he just ate his own food and watched her with those kind sad eyes when she finished. Marcus asked, Would you like more? Zara could not believe it. More, she whispered. If you're still hungry? Yes. She was still hungry, but she was afraid to say so. This had to be some kind of test. Marcus seemed to understand her fear. It's okay to be hungry, Zara. It's okay to want more food. You've been through terrible things, and your body needs to heal. For the first time in years, Zara felt something strange inside her chest. It took her a moment to recognize what it was. Hope. Part 2. Unexpected sanctuary. Zara woke up in darkness and panic. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Her body was lying on something soft, not the hard metal floor she was used to. She sat up quickly, her forearms reaching out to feel around. She was in a bed, a real bed with blankets and a pillow. The memories came back slowly. The auction, the human named Marcus, the food. She remembered falling asleep at the table, her stomach full for the first time in months. Light came on. Softly when she moved. The room was small, but clean. There was the bed, a small table, and a chair. On the wall was a mirror, something she had not seen in years. When she looked at herself, she was shocked. Her blue skin was pale and thin. Her large eyes looked too big for her face. She could see her ribs through her skin. She looked like a ghost of what Vexarians were supposed to look like. On the table next to the bed was a glass of water and a small device. Zara picked up the device carefully. It was a data pad with a message on the screen. Good morning, Zara. I hope you slept well. There are clothes in the box under the bed. The door is not locked. You can go anywhere on the ship you want. In the main room, when you are ready. Marcus. Zara read the message 3 times. The door was not locked? She could go anywhere? This had to be a trick. She found the box under the bed. Inside were clean clothes in her size. They were simple but soft and warm. She had not worn clean clothes in so long that she had forgotten how good they felt. Slowly, she opened the door to her room. She expected alarms to go off, or for Marcus to appear with anger on his face. But nothing happened. The hallway was quiet. She walked through the ship carefully, ready to run back to her room at any moment. She found a bathroom with a real shower. Her hands shook as she turned on the water. Hot water came out, something that was only for masters, never for slaves. After her shower, she felt more awake than she had in years. She followed the smell of cooking food to the main room of the ship. Marcus was standing at the kitchen area making breakfast. When he saw her, he smiled. "You look much better," he said. "How did you sleep?" I slept well," Zara said quietly. She was still afraid this kindness would end suddenly. "Good, sit down. Breakfast is almost ready." Marcus put a plate of food in front of her. Again, there was more food than she was used to. There were eggs and bread and fruit. Everything tasted wonderful. "Marcus," she said carefully, "when do I start working?" Marcus looked confused. "Working? My duties? My job? What do you want me to do?" Marcus set down his fork and looked at her seriously. "Zara, you don't have any duties. You don't work for me. But you bought me. I am your slave." "No," Marcus said firmly. "You are not my slave. You are a free person." Zara stared at him. "I don't understand." Marcus was quiet for a moment, then he started talking. 5 years ago I was captured by the hegemony. They put me in a prison camp on Zarian Prime. I worked in their mines for 18 hours every day. They barely fed us. They beat us when we were too slow. I watched good people die from exhaustion and cruelty. Zara listened with wide eyes. She had never heard a master talk about being treated badly before. "A group of rebels attacked the camp and freed us," Marcus continued. "When I got out, I made a promise to myself. I would use whatever money I had to buy slaves and set them free. I've been doing it for 3 years now. You free slaves." "Us," Zara whispered. "Yes, I have a salvage business that makes enough money to buy people like you. Then I take them to safe places where they can start new lives." Zara felt dizzy. But why? Marcus looked out the window at the stars. "Because everyone deserves to be free. Because no one should suffer like we did. Many people have you freed. You're number 47. Zara could not speak. This human had spent years and all his money saving people he had never met. It did not make sense. Ow. Most species only cared about their own families or tribes. "There's something else I want to show you," Marcus said. He led her to another room. On the ship, inside were boxes and containers. Marcus opened one of them. Inside were small objects that made Zara gasp. They were memory crystals from her home world. Each crystal contained songs, stories, and pictures from Vixarian culture. They were very rare and valuable. "How do you have these?" she asked. "I buy them whenever I find them. Many of the people I've freed want something to remember their homes." Zara picked up one of the crystals with shaking hands. When she touched it, music filled her mind, a lullaby her mother used to sing. Tears ran down her face. She had not heard Vexarian music in 5 years. "You can keep as many as you want," Marcus said softly. For the next few hours, Marcus showed Zara around the ship. He explained how everything worked. He showed her the library with books about different planets and cultures. He showed her the communication system she could use to contact anyone she wanted. "Can I really call anyone?" she asked. "Anyone you want. What if I wanted to call other Vexarians who have been freed?" Marcus smiled. "I have a list of contact codes. Many of them would be happy to talk to you." That afternoon, Zara spoke to 3 other Vexarians who had been freed by humans, like Marcus. They told her about the new lives they were building. They had jobs they chose. They had homes. They had families. Some even had children who would grow up free. At dinner, Zara asked Marcus, "What happens to me now?" "Whatever you want to happen. I can take you to a planet where there are other freed Vexarians. You can start a new life there. Or if you want to go somewhere else, I can help you get there. It's your choice. My choice. Yes, your life belongs to you now, not to anyone else." That night, Zara lay in her bed thinking about choices. She had never made a real choice before. Masters had always told her what to do, where to go, what to think. But now, she could choose. She could choose what to eat for breakfast. She could choose what clothes to wear. She could choose whether to stay or go. She could choose to be happy. For the first time in her life, the future was not something terrible waiting for her. It was something she could create herself. As she fell asleep, Zara made her first real choice. She decided to trust Marcus. She decided to believe that some people really could be kind without wanting anything in return. She decided to hope. Part 3. The human way. 3 weeks had passed since Marcus bought Zara. She was starting to believe that his kindness was real. Her body was getting stronger with good food and rest. Her blue skin was brighter now, and her eyes had their natural glow back. But the real change was inside her mind. For the first time in years, she was not afraid every moment of every day. One morning, Marcus was looking at star charts when Zara found him. "We're changing course," he said without looking up. "There's a slave ship 3 systems away. They have children on board." Zara felt her stomach drop. Children, young Zephyrians. The hegemony caught them when they raided their planet last month. Zara knew about Zephyrians. They were small, bird-like people with beautiful feathers. They were peaceful and never hurt anyone. The idea of their children being slaves made her feel sick. "What are we going to do?" she asked. Marcus looked at her with surprise. I want to help," Zara said quickly.
Please.
"Let me help save them." Marcus was quiet for a long moment. "It's dangerous, Zara. If we get caught, they'll kill us both." "I don't care. Those children need help." Marcus smiled, the first real smile Zara had seen from him. "Okay, but we do this my way." For the next 2 days, Marcus taught Zara about rescue missions. He showed her how to use her quantum interface abilities to hack into ship systems. He taught her how to move quietly and how to hide. "The most important thing," Marcus said, "is that we save the children first. Adults can survive longer. Children cannot." They reached the slave ship during its night cycle. It was a big, ugly ship with weapons and thick armor. Marcus's small ship looked like a tiny bug next to it. "How do we get inside?" Zara asked. "Very carefully," Marcus said. He attached their ship to the slave ship's docking port. Then he did something that shocked Zara. He put on the uniform of a hegemony officer. "Where did you get that?" she asked. "I've had it for emergencies. Sometimes the best way to rescue people is to pretend you belong there." Marcus looked completely different in the uniform. He stood straighter, and his face became cold and hard. When he spoke, his voice sounded mean and commanding. "Remember," he said to Zara, "if anyone asks, you're my personal slave. Act scared of me." They walked through the slave ship's corridors. Guards nodded respectfully at Marcus's uniform. Zara walked behind him with her head down, pretending to be frightened. The children were being kept in the ship's cargo hold. When Zara saw them, she almost cried. There were 12 young Zephyrians, all under 10 years old. Their beautiful feathers were dirty and broken. They huddled together in a corner, too scared to make noise. 2 guards stood watch outside the cargo hold. "I need to inspect the new slaves," Marcus told the guards in his fake commanding voice. "Yes, sir," one guard said. "But why do you need your slave with you?" "She's a Vexarian," Marcus said coldly. "She can check their quantum compatibility for the mining computers." The guards let them inside. The children looked up with terrified eyes. One little girl with golden feathers started to cry quietly. Marcus knelt down in front of them. When he spoke, his voice was gentle again. "Don't be afraid," he whispered. "We're here to help you." But the children did not understand his language. Zara stepped forward. "I speak their language," she said softly. She had learned it during her years as a slave. Zara knelt next to Marcus and spoke to the children in Zephyrian. She told them that Marcus was a good human who saved slaves. She told them they were going to be free. The little girl with golden feathers looked at Marcus with wide eyes. "He's really going to help us?" she asked in her own language. "Yes," Zara said, "but you have to be very quiet and do exactly what we say." While Zara talked to the children, Marcus was working on the cargo hold's computer system. He was changing the ship's records to show that the children had been transferred to another ship. "Done," he whispered.
Ow.
"Now we have to move fast." Getting 12 frightened children through the ship without being noticed was almost impossible. Marcus divided them into small groups. He and Zara would take 2 groups each, making 2 trips. The first trip went well. They got 6 children to Marcus's ship safely. But during the second trip, Something went wrong. A guard became suspicious when he saw Marcus again so soon. "Officer," the guard said, "I thought you already finished your inspection." "There was a problem with the records," Marcus said calmly. "I need to double-check something." But the guard was not convinced. He reached for his communication device to call his captain. That was when Zara did something that surprised everyone, including herself. She stepped in front of Marcus and spoke to the guard in perfect hegemony military language. "This officer is working on direct orders from Admiral Orcs," she said with authority. "If you delay him, the Admiral will not be pleased." The guard's face went pale. Admiral Orcs was famous for punishing anyone who interfered with his orders. "My apologies, sir," the guard said quickly, stepping aside. "They got the last 6 children to safety as soon as everyone was on Marcus's ship." He disconnected from the slave ship and flew away as fast as possible. When they were far enough away to be safe, Marcus looked at Zara with amazement. "Where did you learn to do that?" he asked. "I watched and listened during my years as a slave," Zara said. I learned how the hegemony works. I learned their language and their customs." "You saved us back there?" If that guard had called his captain, we would have been caught, Zara finished. I could not let that happen. Not to you, and not to those children." Marcus was quiet for a moment. Then he said something that changed everything for Zara. "You're not just someone I rescued anymore. You're my partner." Or the word partner felt strange and wonderful to Zara. She had never been anyone's partner before. She had always been property or a tool, but a partner was someone equal, someone important. Over the next few days, they took the Zifrian children to a safe planet where other freed slaves lived. Zara watched the children play and laugh for the first time since their capture. She saw their parents cry with joy when they were reunited. "This is why you do it," she said to Marcus, as they watched a family hug their rescued daughter. "Yes," Marcus said, "this is why." That night, Zara made another choice. She decided she did not want to go to the planet with other freed Vexarians. She wanted to stay with Marcus. She wanted to help him save more people. She wanted to learn the human way of never giving up on others. Part 4. The price of freedom. 2 months after the Zephyrian rescue, Marcus and Zara had saved 18 more slaves. They worked well together. Zara's computer skills and Marcus's planning made them a perfect team. But their success was about to bring them terrible danger. Admiral Voss of the Hegemony was not a patient alien. His long, snake-like body coiled in anger as he looked at the reports on his desk. Too many slaves were disappearing from his sector. Someone was stealing his property, and he was losing millions of credits. "Find whoever is doing this," he hissed to his captain. "I want them brought to me alive." Meanwhile, Marcus and Zara were planning their biggest rescue yet. A prison transport ship was carrying 50 Vexarian slaves to the mining colonies. Among them were families with young children. "It's too many people," Marcus said, studying the ship's layout. "We've never tried to rescue 50 people at once." "We have to try," Zara said firmly. "Those are my people, Marcus." "Well, they might be from my home village." Marcus looked at her determined face and nodded. "Then we'll find a way." They spent 3 days planning. The prison transport was heavily guarded, but it had to stop at Nexus Station for fuel. That would be their chance. On the day of the rescue, everything went wrong from the beginning. The transport ship arrived at Nexus Station with twice as many guards as usual. Worse, Admiral Voss himself was on board. He had been expecting an attack. "A trap," Marcus said quietly as they watched from their hiding spot. "What do we do?" Zara asked. Marcus was quiet for a long moment. Then he made a decision that showed exactly what kind of person he was. "We go anyway," he said. "Those people are counting on us, but they know we're coming. But I won't leave 50 innocent people to die in the mines just because it's dangerous for us." They put on disguises and entered the station. Marcus dressed as a maintenance worker. Zara used her computer skills to create fake identification papers for herself as a station technician. The plan was simple. Zara would hack into the transport ship's computer system and unlock the prisoner cells. Marcus would create a distraction to draw the guards away. Then they would lead the slaves to a cargo ship that Marcus had prepared for escape. But Admiral Voss was smarter than they thought. As soon as Zara connected to the ship's computer, alarms started ringing. Security doors slammed shut all around. The station hegemony soldiers appeared from everywhere. "Run," Marcus shouted. They ran through the station corridors as soldiers chased them. Energy weapons fired over their heads. Marcus grabbed Zara's hand and pulled her into a maintenance. "Tunnel this way," he said. They crawled through the tunnel as soldiers searched for them above. But when they came out the other side, more soldiers were waiting. "Surrender now, and we won't hurt you," said the soldier leader. Marcus stood in front of Zara protectively. "Let her go. I'm the one you want." "Shh," said a cold voice. "I want both of you." Admiral Voss slithered out from behind his soldiers. His yellow eyes looked at Marcus with hatred. "The famous human slave stealer," Voss said. "You've cost me a lot of money." "Good, Marcus," said without fear. Admiral Voss laughed. "Still brave, even now. We'll see how long that lasts." They were taken to the detention center on Voss's ship. Marcus and Zara were put in separate cells across from each other. The cells were small and cold, with electric bars that would shock anyone who touched them. "Why did you do it?" Admiral Voss asked Marcus through the cell bars. "Why did you risk everything for slaves you don't even know?" "Because they're people," Marcus said simply. "They deserve to be free. People," Voss laughed. "They're property tools, no different from a computer or a weapon." "You're wrong," Marcus said. "Every person has value. Every life matters." "Admiral," Voss's eyes narrowed. "We'll see if you still believe that after a few hours of questioning." They took Marcus to another room. Zara could hear him screaming through the walls. Her heart broke with every sound. The hegemony was torturing him, trying to make him tell them about other humans who rescued slaves. But Marcus never broke. After an hour, they heard him. They demanded names and locations. They promised to let him go if he would just give them information about the Underground Railroad. Marcus refused every time. "I will never betray them," he said through gritted teeth. "Never." Admiral Voss was furious. "You humans are insane." "Ow! Why won't you save yourself?" "Because some things are more important than my life," Marcus replied. Zara listened to all of this from her cell. She watched the guards come and go. She studied their patterns and their weaknesses, was learning everything she could about the ship's security. Marcus had taught her that there was always a way to escape. You just had to be patient and smart. On the third day, they brought Marcus back to his cell. He was badly hurt, but his eyes were still strong. "Zara," he whispered. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine," she said. "Marcus, you have to tell them something. They're going to kill you." "No," Marcus said firmly. "I won't put other people in danger to save myself. That's not who I am." "But I can't lose you," Zara said, tears running down her face. "You saved me. You showed me what freedom means." Marcus smiled weakly. "And now you have to save yourself. You're strong, Zara, stronger than you know." That night, while the guards thought she was sleeping, Zara used her quantum interface abilities to hack into the ship's computer system. It was harder than anything she had ever done. The hegemony had strong security, but Marcus had taught her to never give up. Slowly, carefully, she found what she was looking for: the ship's prisoner database, the guard schedules, the security camera controls. Most importantly, she found the location of the 50 Vexarian slaves who were still on board. She also found something else: Admiral Voss's personal files. Records of all his illegal slave trading operations. Evidence that could destroy him and his entire organization. Zara smiled in the darkness. Marcus had taught her something very important about humans. They didn't just fight for themselves. They fought for what was right. Tomorrow, she would show Admiral Voss what a free Vexarian could do. Tomorrow, she would prove that Marcus's sacrifice meant something. Tomorrow, she would save them all. Part 5. Seeds of Revolution. The next morning, Zara put her plan into action. She'd been awake all night, hacking deeper into Admiral Voss's computer systems. What she found was worse than she had imagined. Voss was not just stealing and selling slaves. He was working with members of the Galactic Council, the government that was supposed to protect all species. Some of the most respected leaders in the galaxy were buying slaves and covering up Voss's crimes. Zara copied all the evidence onto a hidden data crystal in her head. She also found the ship's communication system and the location of every slave on board. When the guards came to get Marcus for more questioning, Zara was ready. "Wait," she called out. "I want to make a deal with Admiral Voss." The guards stopped. One of them went to get Voss, while the other watched Zara carefully. "Admiral." Voss slithered into the detention area a few minutes later. His yellow eyes looked at Zara with interest. "The little Vexarian wants to make a deal," he said with amusement. "What could you possibly offer me?" "Information," Zara said. "I know where all the human rescue ships are hiding. I know their secret bases and their communication codes." Marcus looked at her with shock and pain. "Zara." "No, don't do this." "Sorry, Marcus," Zara said, not looking at him, "but I want to live." Admiral Voss smiled coldly. "Smart girl. What do you want in return?" "My freedom, and a ship to take me far away from here, and your human friend." Pretended to think about it. "I don't care what happens to him. He's not my real master anyway. He just pretended to be kind, so I would help him." Admiral Voss laughed. "Excellent. You see, human, your pet doesn't really care about you after all." Marcus looked heartbroken. He believed that Zara was really betraying him. "Take her to my office," Voss ordered. "I want to hear everything she knows." As they led Zara away, she caught Marcus's eye for just a second. She blinked 3 times quickly, a signal Marcus had taught her that meant "trust me." Understanding flashed in Marcus's eyes. Zara was not betraying him. She had a plan. In Admiral Voss's office, Zara sat across from the snake-like alien and began to lie very convincingly. She told him false locations for human bases. She gave him fake communication codes. She described rescue ships that did not exist. Voss believed every word because he wanted to believe it. While she talked, Zara was also doing something else. Her quantum interface was connected to every computer system on the ship. She was quietly taking control of everything: security, life support, communications, and most importantly, the prisoner cells. "This information is very valuable," Voss said when she finished. "You have earned your freedom." "Thank you, Admiral," Zara said humbly. But as Voss reached for his communication device to call his officers, all the lights on the ship went out. Emergency lighting came on, bathing everything in red light. Alarms started ringing everywhere. "Happening?" Voss shouted. "System malfunction," one of his officers reported over the comm. "All the prisoner cells just opened. The slaves are escaping." Voss looked at Zara with fury. What did you do?" Zara stood up, and her voice was no longer humble. It was strong and proud. "I set them free," she said. "All of them, including Marcus." "Impossible. You're just a slave." "I was a slave," Zara said. "Now I'm free." "Are they?" Admiral Voss lunged at her with his claws, but Zara was ready. She rolled away and ran for the door. As she ran, she activated the final part of her plan. Every communication device on the ship and on every other ship in the sector received the same message. It was all of Admiral Voss's secret files, evidence of his slave trading, records, of which council members were helping him. Proof of corruption at the highest levels of galactic government. The message spread from ship to ship, station to station, planet to planet. In hours, the entire galaxy knew the truth. Zara found Marcus in the detention area, helping injured slaves. His face was swollen and bruised, but he was smiling. "I knew you had a plan," he said. "I learned from the best," Zara replied. Together, they led 50 Vexarian slaves and dozens of other species to the escape ships. Some slaves were too weak to walk, so the stronger ones carried them. Everyone helped everyone else as they prepared to leave. Admiral Voss and his soldiers cornered them in the hangar bay. "You're not going anywhere," Voss hissed. "I'll kill every one of you before I let you escape." But then something wonderful happened. The hangar doors opened, and more ships flew in. Human ships, alien ships, ships from a dozen different species. All of them had come to help with the rescue. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Human Liberation Fleet," a voice said over the radio. Admiral Voss, you are surrounded. Surrender. Now, Voss looked around in shock. His own soldiers were laying down their weapons. They had seen the evidence Zara had broadcast. They knew their admiral was a criminal. It's over, Voss, Marcus said. Within a week, the scandal had destroyed the corrupt parts of the Galactic Council. Admiral Voss was arrested. Slave trade that had operated in secret for decades was finally exposed. But the real victory was not political. It was personal. Zara stood on the bridge of a new ship. Her own ship, watching former slaves build homes on a beautiful planet below. These people were free now. They had jobs they chose. They had families. They had hope. Marcus stood beside her. He was older now and tired from his years of fighting, but he was happy. Look what you started, Zara said to him. We started, Marcus corrected. This was all of us working together. What will you do now? Zara asked. Marcus smiled. I think I'll retire. Let younger people like you take over the fighting. And what will I do? Whatever you choose. That's what freedom means. Zara looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, she knew there were still slaves who needed help. There were still people who had never experienced kindness. She made her choice. I'm going to do what you taught me, she said. I'm going to show others what freedom looks like. I'm going to teach them that every person has value. Marcus nodded approvingly. That's very human of you. Zara laughed. Maybe that's not such a bad thing to be. As their ship flew toward the stars, Zara thought about how much her life had changed. She had started as property, a thing to be bought and sold. But one human had seen her as a person. He had shown her kindness when she expected cruelty. He had given her choices when she had never had any. Now she would do the same for others, because that was the human way. And it was her way too. The revolution had begun with one human's compassion. It would spread across the galaxy, carried by everyone who believed that freedom was worth fighting for. Marcus had taught her the most important lesson of all. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness can change everything.